And we are live. Doesn't that theme song have a vibe? I'm just sitting here rocking out as the getting ready to go live. So if you are watching live, put in the chat hashtag live. If you're watching a replay, put hashtag replay. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. My name is DarnaldJr. And this is Finlit Live. This is the show where we talk about personal finances. And today we have a subject that I am super excited about, super passionate about, because it's something that's been a part of my life for the past 2 decades. And we're bringing on a long-term guest, EZ from California. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get lit. All right. Without any further ado, EZ. Hey, EZ, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you, Darnold?
Good. This is what, your 3rd or 4th time being on the show?
Maybe 4.
I appreciate you for being a long-term guest. For those that don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself and what you are up to.
My name is Easy, but my real name is Ezrael. 20 years old, live in California, small town Santa Clarita. I've been doing business in the financial industry for about 7 years now. I love God, I love traveling, and I love helping people.
Absolutely. So he may have a baby face, but you said you're 25?
28.
28. Wow, time's flying by. I remember when you were in high school, bro.
Yes, the days.
So for those that don't know who he is killing it in the sales game. And so I'm honored to have him on as a guest, because as a 28-year-old, like, this guy is bringing in money. And so today we're talking about sales and the importance of developing your sales skill. And this is going to be more of a discussion versus an interview. Typically, I like to interview my guests, but this is something I'm personally passionate about and something that we have a workshop coming up. So stay tuned on the details on that. But with that, let's talk about sales. So, like, from your opinion, EZ, like, what do you think is the biggest misconception about sales in general?
I think generally the misconception on sales is that you have to have a pitch ready, you have to be robotic, you have to like know everything about what you're serving your customer. But at the end of the day, the bottom line, it's about relationship. No one wants to be sold something that they don't trust. And relationship is literally the currency in sales.
Absolutely.
In my opinion. Yeah.
I agree. And I think sales has this big mystique as far as, oh, you're a salesperson. Have you ever got that before?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's maybe good that I don't get that, because it just seems like people trust me more. Because they, unless you don't know what you're talking about, that's when the term sales really comes in. And if they feel uncomfortable about you, it's like people know you and I will understand just based off of if we're being sold something.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the biggest mystique about sales from my perspective is people don't realize that sales in general, like, nothing in the world happens as far as like transaction and business happens unless something is sold, right? Like, you don't have a doctor's office if nobody shows up, right? You don't have a dance recital if nobody buys tickets to it. And so, like, every single business has some sort of sell that's made. And people, like I said, have this crazy connotation about sales. And from my perspective, all sales is simply finding a problem and solving that problem. And that's it. And it's incredible because whoever could solve the biggest problem gets paid the most, right?
Definitely.
And so there's different types of sales professionals out there that have the title of sales, but honestly, I don't think it doesn't matter what title you have. Like, everybody has some sort of sales skills that is necessary in whatever position, from the janitor all the way up to the CEO. Because think about it, like a janitor, he can't get his job unless he interviews for the job and presents to his employer, hey, I can sweep floors, right? If he can't convey that, guess what? That employer is not going to hire him, right? A CEO can't move a company if a CEO doesn't have a big vision for the company, if he doesn't know the ins and outs on how to take the company to the next level. And so they have to be able to communicate that. And so sales is understanding people's problems or pain point and being able to solve that with the solution. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely, Darnold. I was gonna say, you know, everybody's in sales. You know, when I was in the restaurant industry, there were so many people recruiting me, trying to tell me like, "Oh, you're a really good salesman," and I'm like, "I'm just a server here." You know, it's just a little mental switch. Like, yeah, they're explaining to me, "Well, you're selling me food. You're selling me a beverage. You're selling me a cocktail," and that even goes on to say in the inception of me working as being an employee at Old Navy, like, you know, I'm a cashier, but I'm selling them the clothes that they're purchasing. I'm selling them a credit card that they, you know, can save 10% on. You know, whatever industry you're in, like what Darnold said, you can see it as in the term sales, or you could just see it as like you're helping someone, you're serving someone, right? I mean, think about if you're in, you know, if you follow a religion, right? They're trying to sell you something that is of a higher power, right? So it's all perspective, really.
Absolutely. So the thing is, when it comes to sales, in like any profession, you always have the negative stereotypes. And let's address some of those negative stereotypes. Like, for instance, there's the bad lawyer out there, there's the bad doctor, and then you got the bad sales professional, right? A lot of times when people think of bad salespeople, they think of used car salespeople. How about I got a deal for you?
Right.
So I think one of the biggest mistakes that especially new sales professional and immature sales professionals do is they try to pitch their benefits, right? Their features and benefits without truly understanding their prospect and understanding their pain points and understanding what keeps them up at night. And a person that is veteran at sales, they'll seek first to understand and then to be understood. They understand the person's situation, and if they uncover a problem in that person's situation, be like, okay, I have a solution for that problem. And that's how very mature sales professionals sell. And what are your takes on that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, Darnold, I mean, you hit it spot on. Sales is essentially helping and serving and giving the customer confidence on how they can solve their problem. You know, like in our industry, Darnold, you know, it's like if they have a for example, like a financial problem, right? Um, that's it. What it just means is that they're not educated and there's something that they don't know of, and that creates a problem in their lives, right? So if you put you and I in front of them, we can explain to them how we can, if you were to put your money here other than a bank, and it give you a better lifestyle and switch your way of thinking about money, will that help you solve your problem? Of course. Yeah. Will this increase your family's lifestyle? Yes. Okay, there's other ways to put your money outside of a bank. Yeah. I can grow my money. Yes. And it then essentially thus solves a problem, right? And then all we are as salespeople is also educators, right?
Mm,
We're educating them on how to think better, on what's out there, what are options, and how to develop and grow in that direction. Whether if it's like cleaning your pool, right? You're educating them on that. Whether if it's like food, right? Whether if it's your finances, a sport, we're just educating. That's all.
yep. Yeah, we're educating, and then if people understand the value behind the solution, then they purchase it. If they don't, okay, I appreciate you for taking time out your busy schedule, right? So
Correct.
it's incredible. So, like, what are 3 tips you would give a person if they are brand new to sales, if they say just joined your team and they're scared and they're insecure, like what are 3 tips you would tell them to be able to start building their confidence?
Well, I always, to verify, if it's a right fit for a person to be in sales, right? It's that, I always ask 3 questions. Are you coachable? Are you teachable? And are you actionable? And the first 2 are critical because, it's really hard to submit and um, uh, humble ourselves to listen to an authority figure, right? But let's just say that you are working with me and you're brand new. Essentially, all I would do is I would help you build a confidence by telling you, like, hey, I'm going to put you under my wing. Everything's going to be okay. And you just have to have faith in the process. Um, and if objections and rejections and things that make you feel uncomfortable come in the way, that's fine. That's an indication that that's something we need to work on and learn. So essentially, how I started, right, is that I found someone who has been in my position with massive experience, with massive results, and that I, as the newly salesperson, gives me confidence already to be like, wow, this guy has the fruit, this guy has the cars, this guy has the house, this guy has the everything that I'm looking for. And that should already give me confidence to begin with to move in that direction. And um, uh, I know I'm just like spilling out everything as far as like not pinpointing like 1, 2, and 3. Um, but number 1 is like, make sure that person that is teaching you and coaching you is verifiable, right? He has what you want. Number 2, know the knowledge of what you're selling. That'll give you confidence. And number 3, know the person in front of you, right? If it's like a person at work, if it's a person that's a family or a friend, know everything about them and see how you can help serve them. So definitely the right coach, knowledge, and make sure you know your customers.
Absolutely. So those are amazing gems and nuggets. And like for me, from my perspective, if I was coaching a brand new person, is know your product, right? Product knowledge is huge. If you don't know your product, you can't speak confidently to your prospect. You can't even know that it'll be a solution for your prospect, right? And then
Right.
another thing is to work the numbers. I don't care what you sell. Ultimately, sales boils down to a numbers game, right? The more people you see, the more sales you make. I always like making the analogy with Babe Ruth. Everybody knows who Babe Ruth is. They know he's known for home runs, right? But most people don't realize that Babe Ruth actually struck out the most. And guess what? People don't remember the strikeouts, but they remember the home runs, right? And it's the same in sales. Like the top producers, what they do, they actually get the most no's, right? But people don't remember top producers for the no's. They remember for all the yeses that they have. And so it's like sales and sports have 2 amazing analogies together. Like, oh my gosh, you could have so many analogies between sales and sports. So that's the tips I would give a new person is know your product and then also work the numbers. Because ultimately what happens is obviously if somebody's brand new to sales, their skills is very, very low. So they have to have high activity, right? But guess what? With time, if they're consistent in their activity, their skills are going to improve. And if they have high activity and high skill sets, then that's when they become a top producer. But what tends to happen is when people have high skill sets, they tend to start to slack on the activity. And that's when they don't get the crazy top producer results that top producers can have. So that's one of the keys to becoming a top producer if that's your goal. But if that's not your goal, if you just want to develop high skills and have a good work-life balance, then that's noble too. So it's up to the individual what their goals are, right?
Right. And I wanted to add on what you're saying. The more, you're talking about numbers game, the more people you get in front of you, the more people you talk to, like do an experiment about that. Like just talk to a bunch of people and that'll give you already confidence. to go and talk about whatever you're serving or helping. I think about the analogy of I think I heard this on a podcast once, but it's like, if you are unconfident about yourself when it comes to dating, right? You just need to go out there and talk to a bunch of the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever it is, and that will instill confidence in you to talk to the person you really want to talk to. And then it develops this natural way of you being yourself. I cannot emphasize that even more, because sales is literally not this robotic blueprint or map. It's you being yourself and having the person in front of you feel comfortable about it. And what Darnold said, it's about product knowledge, right? If you can understand that what you're trying to help this person with within your personality, and they already like love you and trust you, that is the equation for them saying, yes, I want you to help me. Right?
Yeah. So to piggyback off of that, ultimately people buy from those that they like and they trust. Right? If they don't like you, guess what? They're not going to buy. If they don't trust you, they're surely not going to buy. They're not going to give you their bank account information if they don't trust you. So
Right.
those are the two keys. And the thing is, like, especially in our presentation, we spend more time on the front end, like just getting to know the person, versus on the back end presenting the product. Because if people trust us, like from my perspective and what we do, I honestly believe our product is amazing. It could literally be the difference between life or death for our clients. But if they don't trust me, then they're not going to listen, right? They're not going to pull the trigger at the end of the conversation. And that's another thing, especially for immature salespeople, they make it a monologue and not a dialogue. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And that's what I mean by like the script. And like I personally never even made a script. I just wanted the person in front of me to feel comfortable and understand what I can help them with. If you go anything outside those guardrails about like, there's nothing. People learn differently, right? And I'm only speaking from my perspective and the way I learned. It's that people just want to be, like what you said, like if they're not comfortable, or if they don't trust you, and if like they don't love you, not love you, but not like you, then it would be a really hard sell, or like you would be frustrated within yourself. But the more natural you become at it, right? Just because, like, for example, if you meet a new friend at a concert, at a church, at a show, right? You're selling yourself for them to like you. Right? And if they're comfortable that way, then what else are they comfortable with about knowing about you? So it's all the relationship side. Like yes, the script can give you the the direction, and you can build off of that. But however, people will know based off of your energy and your vibe if you're just trying to sell them something.
Yep. That's why you gotta be really genuine. That helps with the trust factor. And I love the phrase, in order to be interesting, be interested. Right. So just really truly get to know the person in front of you, see how you can love and serve them to the best of your ability. If you can't, then be honest with them. Be like, I don't think this is a good fit for you. And that's integrity. That's having ethics when it comes to sales.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not a good fit for every product that's out there. And that's fine. But there's what's called commission breath, where people, like the salesperson, needs to close a deal just to pay bills. And so they're pressuring the person in front of them. And people could sense that. It's like, are you doing this for me, or are you doing this for you?
Right.
When people could tell that you're genuinely in it for them and trying to help them, then they sense that. But if they think, hey, this person's just trying to make money off of me, then guess what? They could detect that too. People have what we call a BS meter. People are really good at the BS meter. And so that's why it's so important to really, really get yourself out the way when you're talking to a person and be like, okay, I'm genuinely in this for you, to help you, to serve you, to bless you. And if this could help, then get it. If this can't help, then don't get it, and genuinely mean that. So that's huge.
Right. And there's only two reasons why you would be uncertain or nervous about, selling or serving this person in front of you, is that you don't know what you're talking about, right? and you don't have enough experience on it. That's it. Because the experience will take care of itself because, in the beginning with everything, right? If I have never had experience talking to a girl, I would be nervous about it, right?
Mhm.
The longer I have experience of getting to know this person, the more comfortable and confident I can to be myself, right? And it's just the same thing when it comes to sales. There's really no difference behind it. And also, I wanted to add one more thing, Donald, is is the I'm sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say, but that's essentially what I was. That's what I wanted to say. Experience, 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 experience.
Absolutely. And I love the phrase, it's hard to be nervous when your mind's on service.
Mm,
Because like when people are nervous, they're thinking about one person. Guess who they're thinking about? Themselves.
right,
Right? But when you're truly in it for the other person, guess who you're not thinking about? Yourself. And
right.
so, yeah, that's when people get nervous. They're like, what do they think about me? Am I going to mess up? Do I know the
Mm,
words? Am I going to not ask the right questions? Yada, yada, yada. But if they're like, okay, I'm here to genuinely find out if this is a good fit for you, if I could bless you, if I could serve you, then people could really tell. So it's important because obviously, like in a selling situation, sales skills are important, but also not just in selling skills, but like in leadership. A good leader is actually a good sales professional because a good leader, what they will be able to do is convey the vision and have people buy into the vision and buy into the strategies that they have in place, buy into the values that the organization has. And in order to create buy-in, they have to be able to communicate their ideas effectively enough to where people understand it and they agree with it and they're willing to run with it. So that's why it's super, super important for leaders to have good sales skills. So whether you're a leader or a manager, and it's important to develop that to the next level, right? Because you're I always say you probably heard of it, the law of the lid, right? You could only go as high as your skill sets will allow you. And I like how Jim Rohn, he's like, if you want to go higher, you have to be better. It's all about who you are as a person. And that's why I encourage you, whether you're money motivated or not, to become a millionaire. And the reason is, like, if money isn't the motivation, once you hit that $1 million status, give it away. Give it away to your favorite nonprofit. Give it away to a church. Give it away somewhere. But it's not the act of having the money, but it's who you have to become in order to achieve that.
right. No, for sure.
It's not the act of owning the money, but it's who you have to become in order to achieve that. Like, what type of character do you have to have? What type of discipline do you have to have? What type of people skills do you have to have? Who are you becoming? Right.
Right. I
So,
wanted to add on what you were saying, like, and also to make it more simpler. We were talking about leadership and how they need to convey the vision. Warren Buffett said that if you want your value to increase quicker and faster, you have to be a great communicator. If you can communicate and help the person in front of you or your team or your staff or your congregation the plan and how it makes sense to better the increase the chances of the outcome to be better, then that's where the gap of communication comes in, right? If you can really deliver and articulate the mental and the emotional side of things on how it makes sense for everybody or for the person in front of you, that's what sales is all about, right? And it's communication. The underlying fact with sales is communication, right? And that is the pinpoint. That is the, knowing how to shoot a target,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, that's right. So, this has been a great discussion. And obviously, there's actually a lot of nuances to sales. So, we're
Right.
talking at very, very high levels. and concepts and philosophies towards sales, and the reason it's so important to develop your sales skills. So with that, how can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you, if they're curious about? Cool, easy. It seems like you're doing really well. Like, how can we connect?
You could find me at Instagram. I'm usually on social media. That is the number one way traffic that I can, contact you in, and we can get together. And that is through my at is EZ_Escarez, and then my business Instagram is 13 Capital LLC. You can also find me on LinkedIn on Ezrael Escarez, and you can we can get on Twitter as well. That's 13 Capital LLC. So I can meet you guys there.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you for taking time out your busy schedule to hang out with me and talk about something I'm personally passionate, and it's kind of fascinating how I got into sales. That's another story for another day. And obviously, you're quite young. I didn't know sales existed when I was like in high school until late high school, like my senior year of high school. So that's cool that you're off to such a fast start at such a young age. And I encourage you to keep going, be persistent. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And ultimately, the better you get, the more people you can help, the more people you could serve, the more you could give back to your community and to society in general. So keep it up, Israel. I want to encourage you to keep going and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate Darnold. The last thing I'll share with everybody is the more you're relational about, if you're going to be in sales, the more you're relational, the higher the chances and probability you're going to be really successful in this business. It's all about the relationship, guys. And that means when you have a relationship, that means that the person in front of you or that relationship knows you care about them, because people don't know how much you know until they know how much you care.
Boom. That's a great quote to end the night. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you and look forward to having you on in the future.
Wonderful. Thanks, Donald, for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you got any value out of today, go ahead and smash that like button. Share this with people. Like if somebody's searching for a new career or something, sales is a great career to go into. It's something that can be long-term, because no matter which company you go into, they have a sales and marketing department. Otherwise, they're not going to exist very much longer. And so with that, like I said, we stayed at a very high level with this conversation, and there's a lot of details and nuances to sales. And so that's the purpose of the sales workshop that I have coming up on September 9th. So 9/9 at 9 a.m. here in Houston, Texas. It's going to be an all-day workshop, and it's not going to just be me talking, but it's going to be interactive, where we teach you the concepts and you actually get to apply that in a workbook setting, and you could apply it to your specific industry. So it's not just for sales professional. Like I mentioned, sales isn't just for sales, it's for leaders. It's for anybody that wants to communicate more effectively. And if that's you, I encourage you to join us on September 9th. And here's a little promo video that I put together for it. Super excited because we already have people registering. There's so many people that are excited. I did this last year and had some really, really amazing testimonials that came out of it. Like one guy literally doubled his production after going through the workshop. So if that's you, if you want to double your production, double your income, then join us on September 9th at 9 a.m. at Hampton Inn and Suites on the east side of Houston, Texas, 2023. So super excited. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and for staying this long. And I appreciate you guys for getting